She answered one simple question in court, and then a white cop handcuffed her like a criminal. Moments later, her father, a retired Navy SEAL, walked in. Silent, calm, but the entire courtroom froze. What do you do when the very system meant to protect your child ends up hurting her? Have you ever seen justice turn its back right in front of you? Think about that as you listen. And hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, because what happened next? No one saw it coming. The courthouse felt smaller than Isla expected, not by size, but by the air. It pressed in on her, heavy with unspoken tension. Isla walked a step behind her mother, eyes cast down, fingers nervously smoothing her blazer. The scent of old paper and lemon polish hung in the halls, familiar to some, but new to her. This was her first time in court, not as defendant, just a witness. A teenager there to support her mother's friend, a sweet old lady caught in a fight over a tiny strip of land with her white neighbor. Isla had rehearsed everything. Short, respectful answers. Steady voice. But when they entered the courtroom, the air shifted. Everyone inside was white: judge, bailiff, lawyers, clerks, gallery. Most eyes watched the door when Isla came in, then lingered a little too long when she didn't look away. Her mother whispered, "Head up, baby. You got this." She tried. Isla sat stiff-backed in the second row, hands in her lap, trying not to fidget. Her navy skirt brushed the wooden bench, modest, professional, invisible if possible. But she wasn't invisible not to Officer Derek Wallace, leaning against the wall, arms crossed, eyes scanning for trouble. When his gaze landed on Isla, it didn't leave. Not just noticing, but suspicion. She glanced away, then back. The stare stripped away her stillness. She forced a nervous smile at her mother, who whispered something about testimony. Isla tried to breathe, stay calm. Then Wallace moved forward. The courtroom quieted, papers shuffled, shoes scuffed softly, voices low. The judge barely looked up as the defendant's lawyer rose tall, white, mid-50s, polished and confident. Adjusting his glasses, he addressed Isla. "Miss Monroe, you've seen the boundary line yourself?" "Yes, sir, many times." "Do you think your mother's friend deserves to keep that strip of land?" Isla blinked, hesitated. The question felt like a trap dressed in politeness. Before she answered, he added, chuckling, "How much land do you think your kind should own anyway?" No one gasped. No one protested. That kind of sentence slips through cracks just enough to deny, but none for dignity. Isla didn't answer. Her eyes found her mother, lips tight, hands clutching her skirt. She turned back, looked down, shook her head, exhaled a half-laugh, half-sigh, kind you let out when you've heard too much. Then Wallace stepped toward Isla, boots heavy on the floor. "Are you mocking this court?" Isla looked up, startled. "No, sir. I was just breathing." Wallace turned to the judge. "Contempt." Judge Sloan barely looked up. "Proceed." Mrs. Monroe stood. "She didn't do anything." "Sit down," the bailiff snapped. Wallace reached for his cuffs. Isla froze, pulled back her hands. "No sudden moves," he warned loudly. She raised her arms slowly, eyes wide, dry. The metal clicked around her wrists, in front of everyone. Silence filled the room. No outrage, no protest, just a faint scrape of a chair leg. The door creaked open, softly, unremarkable, ignored. Marcus Monroe stepped in. Tall, black, calm, a retired Navy SEAL. His presence was quiet but heavy, like a storm no one saw coming. His eyes locked on Alara's, cuffs gleaming, shoulders tense but trying not to show fear. Marcus didn't blink, didn't move fast. His fingers curled into fists, not rage, but restraint forged over decades. The courtroom murmured, then fell silent. No one recognized him yet. Marcus took one slow step forward. "Your Honor, I request 2 minutes to speak." The room tensed, not from fear but respect. Judge Sloan squinted. "You are." Marcus said nothing, just watched his daughter. Then, calmly, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a worn card, dark blue, laminated edges. He laid it on the clerk's table. Department of the Navy SEAL Team, 6th Chief Marcus D. Monroe. Silence rippled. Officer Wallace blinked, stepped back like the card burned him. Another whispered, "Holy hell, that's the guy from Yemen." Judge Sloan looked closely, then at Marcus. Is this supposed to intimidate the court? No, ma'am, Marcus said evenly. I'm reminding it who it's hurting. His calm words landed heavy. Isla hadn't seen the card, hadn't heard the whispers, but she felt that he shift the current changing direction. Still, her eyes stayed low, hands cuffed, shoulders small. Inside, she fought not to tremble, not because she feared for her safety, but because she wondered if she deserved this. Growing up always watched, always suspected, makes you wonder if it's your fault. Even with her father there, Isla felt invisible. The courtroom held its breath. Judge Sloan looked up, slower now, present. She adjusted her glasses, glanced at Isla. Before I close this matter, Miss Monroe, if you have anything to say, now is your chance. Isla blinked. Didn't expect to speak, not with cold metal still on her wrists. She opened her mouth, but no words came. Then, she turned just enough to see Marcus beside her. He placed a steady hand on her shoulder, warm, firm, and nodded once. That was enough. Her eyes closed, and behind her eyelids, a memory surfaced. 8 years old, classroom, a white teacher asking a black boy to read. He stuttered. The teacher sighed, loud enough for the whole class. Maybe books just aren't your thing. No one said a word, not even Isla. She told herself silence was safe. But silence never saved him, and it didn't save her. Her eyes opened. Her voice came quiet but clear. Silence doesn't protect you. It erases you. The words hung not loud, not angry, just honest. No one moved. For the first time that day, Isla looked up, not at the judge, not the officer. Straight ahead, like someone who knew her voice might shake, but wouldn't disappear again. Silence settled soft, sacred. Then a small sniffle broke through. At the interpreter's table, an older woman wiped tears away. Her gaze distant, something old awakened. At the defense table, the lawyer shifted uncomfortably. Officer Wallace stood frozen, hand near his holster. He didn't blink. He stared not at Isla, but at Marcus. 2 soldiers. Maybe, but only one chose the battle of silence. Wallace's jaw tightened, shoulders twitched, but he said nothing. He looked away, and that was enough. Not surrender, not defiance. Retreat, quiet and unannounced. Judge Sloan exhaled, leaned back. This court is adjourned for now. No gavelban. Just quiet. Marcus waited, then stepped to Isla's side. Her shoulders still tense. He said nothing, just placed a hand on her back, gentle, grounding. Their eyes met. What had been missing, not forgiveness or apology, but recognition. 2 souls long apart, finding each other without words. Marcus nodded slightly. Isla nodded back. Together, they walked head, no rush, no shame. The courtroom didn't erupt. No cheers, but heads turned. Eyes followed, not with judgment, but respect. At the doors, Isla glanced back once. The bench, the witness chair, the judge's robe, all still there, powerful but smaller. Because she had changed. She stepped into the hallway. Sunlight warmed her skin like morning after a long night. Outside, the world spun as usual. Inside, everything had moved. The gavel was back in its drawer. Courtroom lights dimmed. Judge Sloan stayed behind, alone. The walls lined with books she hadn't opened in years, not from lack of care, but lost time. She pulled out a worn folder. D. Turner, minor, a case 20 years ago. David Turner, black boy accused on suspicion, no proof. She fought hard to dismiss it. Stayed up all night, rereading laws. Called teachers to prove innocence mattered. Don't ruin a boy's life without proof, she said. Colleagues raised eyebrows, but relented. David walked free. She remembered his mother's relief, like the bleeding stopped. That night, she drove home in silence. Now, she barely remembers silence. Only noise. She caught her reflection, tired eyes, worn face. When did I stop fighting and start floating? She whispered. No answer but the clock ticking. She wrote a note requesting review on Officer Wallace's conduct. No excuses, just facts. Signed her name, pressed the pen hard. Silence felt different, not heavy, not empty, just quiet. Like the first time she owned who she was again. Outside, the sun dipped low. Marcus walked beside Isla, not ahead, not behind. Their steps matched, natural, no words needed. The courthouse grew smaller behind. Ahead, a yellow school bus hummed. Kids loud, backpacks too big. Driver watched the clock, not in a hurry. Isla slowed, gripped her backpack tighter. Looked up at Marcus' expression, unreadable. He faced her. No words, then, proud of you, kid. No flitist. Just 5 words. Isla blinked, never heard that from him before. Coming home tonight? I'll be home before dark. Pause. Honest. She half smiled, kind, caught between laugh and cry. Step closer. He opened arms, not urgent, just enough. She walked in like she'd done it 1,000 times before. His arms closed slow, sure, steady. The world outside quieted. Traffic dimmed. Kids on the bus blurred. City stopped moving long enough for a father and daughter to feel something waited in silence too long. No words. Just presence. Isla didn't cry, not because she didn't want to, because there was nothing left to prove. The bus door creaked open. Driver nodded as silent. Take your time. Isla pulled back. Marcus brushed a strand of hair from her face. Go on, he said. I'll be home before dark. She nodded, certain. Stepped on a bus. Found a window seat. As the engine rumbled, the bus pulled away. She looked out. Marcus stood, steady hands in pockets, eyes calm. No wave. No goodbye needed. Because for the first time in a long time, they both knew exactly where the other would be when the sun went down.